Welcome back. We're here to cover the divine masculine. For those of you that don't know, I'm Yildiz from Yildiz Readings 5D, psychic medium, intuitive astrologer, and soul coach. And if you do need a booking, all the links are directly below. Now we're going to get straight into it. And, this does make complete sense, especially after the past few months of what we've been having, of how this is really developing in divine masculine's kind of aura. We have the cat, we have the owl at an intuitive level. There's a shedding away, especially with the snake coming through and the yellow energy with Jupiter and Leo. So we do have this individual at the moment grappling with a bit of a decision. And again, we are very close within the energy, really moving towards the shadow energy of eclipses, etc. So, this circumstance that this person is going through, we all collectively are picking up on it in our masculine attributes of our life as well as within our own personal energy. And with the crowning energy with integrity, the title came about where it was almost like this, not so much an identity crisis, there's a deep internalization of understanding who they are, but grappling with the how do I balance what I need and still hold the integrity, and it's very difficult sometimes to actually do that, because if we have been for a very long time dishonoring ourselves, by dishonoring ourselves, it is out of integrity, point blank zero. Plus, sometimes we don't realize that till after the fact. So the grappling is, okay, how do I go about addressing this? So I do feel this individual is pondering these factors that is keeping them up at night. They're maybe being a bit more private. They do know that they want stability. We see the horns coming out of the head. They feel a deep emotion to do with this. And so this is something that is quite significant and very important. Now, they also really look into the past. And again, I do read these psychically and I pick up on what my guides are showing me. Now, the first thing I'm picking up is the fire energy. And we look to the recent past. And, I was really looking at this, especially because we have the South Node in Leo, or we're going to, and Jupiter in Leo. How we can look about it is, okay, what is happening to do with the past that's become stagnant? That's about the initial best way we can actually utilize it. We are, for the next 2.5 years, maybe going to bounce back and forward between ego. We could experience headaches. We might be tuning into things and going, I'm just running in where fools, angels fair to tread. But there's something, in some way, we are pausing at the minute and going, okay. And I feel divine masculine's doing this. It's like, look, I was really bold in the past. I came out. But how they want to go about this, like, they do know that when they do commit to something, they do go full forward. Okay, it's full steam ahead. That's their intuition. And the other thing I'm picking up, especially from this top row, I'm seeing this person has really wisened up over the years. This is a person who is using their wisdom. And we see the two cranes. Many moons ago, I used to believe that cranes were a symbolism of birth, which is funny because we have Mercury retrograde in Cancer. It's also a symbolism of war. So, what we fight for, what we believe in, the ethics, the morals, the Saturnian logic in the situation. I do think this person is being mature. Now, I'm also feeling that there is a desire. How would I explain it? And I'm going to come back and clarify, because there's a few storylines coming through here at the minute. The first thing I'm getting is they do want to be a protector. They want to be traditional. So again, the context of the title, selfhood versus integrity. I do feel the circumstances they're dealing with, it could be a family-related dynamic. It also, one very large significant thing is they want to look after divine feminine. They also want to look after their own inner divinity and, feelings. They're feeling guilty, but also guilty if they don't honor the needs that they have. Better silence that. That could be a confirmation. Okay, so as we're going here, A lot of changes, cycles of life, returning to the past, reflecting on where they're going. Not really wanting to jump in like, going in where angels fear to tread, really going into this with deep clarity. Are things frustrating them? Yes. There are some old things coming up from the past. Many times when we have shadow work that we're moving through, we can tend to get a bit peeved at ourselves, peeved at other people, peeved at ourselves, old things that crop up out of nowhere, and we say, ha, I have a revelation. And I feel this is also about their feelings and about the youth and where the connection was versus where it is. And that, they really want to get back to life, being able to just move down their path. They know that there has been many obstacles along the way. They know that they have been sidetracked. And in the heart of it, I'm going to straight off the bat clarify this because I want to get to this. Is there a third-party situation? Or is this to do with divine? And I'm going to pull 2 cards. So, okay, external influences, please. What is this external influence? Because it's in the heart space, but it's something maybe that they're taking personal. It's something that they're, holding very private. Interesting. Regrets of the past. Yeah, regrets of the past and how this had affected where they are now. Yeah, this could be like sometimes, like I said, getting sidetracked, and the sidetrack can be purging. There is a question mark over a past commitment. Now, this commitment could be a career, it could be a connection, it could be a karmic, regardless of where they are. So, sometimes we get ourselves a bit stuck. And so, yes, the unpacking of such, that's what they're doing at the moment. Where they're thinking about the divine feminine. Let's look at that. And this is all the heart space. I don't think they're like guilt to do with that, looking at the reasons why. Again, I don't feel it's a pity party moment. I feel it's like, heck, how did I not see that? But it's only on the up and up, when we've started healing. And their intention directly is, they're finding it very hard to articulate or to open up about how this has really, really impacted them. How they do tend to operate with their stress levels is there could be overcompensation with things. This could be being hard on themselves. This could be replaying bad situations like a broken record. And, they are conscience. I'm hearing the term conscience. So the heart chakra can be activated at the moment. There can be a wide open situation. There can be a feeling of needing to tie up loose ends so they can just get out of Dodge and get into this connection. And, there's some unfinished business here where they feel it's really nagging at them. Now, for some, it could be a physical situation they need to deal with. For others, this is something that has, it's almost like the bitterness. You could have been in separation, for instance, and you're bitter about the circumstance because you kind of pause and everything's going wrong and you're like, why is everything going wrong? This point in my life was what it is. Now, I do think they're snapping out of that pretty quickly because we then have the scribe, and I feel this person is coming into that, okay, you're not there anymore. You're a growing masculine. You are where you are. What are we doing from here? So I don't think this is a pity party. Like I said, this is, okay, I know what those things are. So they haven't forgotten that, especially when some of you do think, oh, they've forgotten, they've gone, they've gone back to sleep. They're just accepting it. This is not what I'm getting. I'm getting that they are very conscious about this. And again, it's similar to the divine feminine. There might have been a time in your life where there was that process of elimination. And I feel sometimes we do tend to go to extremes. And I feel this mid-year point is that the filing, the auditing, the researching. And so this is coming into a mature energy. This is going, okay, I'm not exactly where I want to be, but I've changed. Maybe my external circumstances happened and they haven't changed, but I have changed. So now that I've changed, where am I putting my energy? Where is there a conflict that I need to resolve? And sometimes resolving does not mean making it better. Sometimes it's about accepting the fact that there's conflict in the department and either walking away from it. Now, this is a manifestation energy at a foundation level. So, again, I do see they're being very intelligent. I do see there's a tactical approach. They know the elephant in the room. Let's put it that way. They know what this problem is. They're like, they've got no ifs and buts about it, no questions, even tired of hearing the story. Very, very, very true. They are honoring the selfhood, but they're also going into the manifestation of this. Like, how did I attract this number one? And what do I want to co-create right now? I'm almost stumbling over my words. And I do feel, again, these individuals are really going to surprise you guys, because this is something that is being done in the dark. And I don't think it's shady. I feel it's a calculated, tactical approach. It's doing things in the background to get out of this situation. It's to do with an old circumstance, okay? This is very much ending an old contract of some description. Things are cropping up. Like, you could, even for those of you, if you are in the connection or communication right now, which this is collective energy, you could also start getting a little bit paranoid. That can directly be because Juno is retrograde. On this occasion, I'm actually not feeling the shady energy. I'm feeling it's more, I don't want to trigger this person. I don't want it to come through like, oh, here we go again, because I'm feeling very, very optimistic about this. Now, we will check this next week. If you do want a reading and you're not really seeing that in your life, jump through to the website. We have the masculine, feminine, and karmic out now. So if you do want to go through and take a look, great. And yes, if you do want any of the links for bookings or to visit the website for any of our blogs and or join a Sage in a Circle network, which is where we release the content. We also chime in there live. We have chats to do with the astrology, and it's a beautiful community. So if you do want to sign up to that, all the links are below. Take care, and I'll see you next week.